Hi, Deborah Hensley Loewe with Hensley Law Firm. This is the Trial 101. I want to continue to teach other lawyers what to do and how to get better at trial. So one thing you can do, and that's really important, is go watch another attorney try a case. You can walk into any trial. It's open to the public. Or better yet, volunteer to take notes for an experienced attorney. Volunteer your time so that you can take notes during a voir dire and that you can watch the attorney throughout the case. You'll learn what to do and what not to do. I watched an attorney. He had his client up there on the stand testifying. The client testified about having numbness in his hand, and when he'd reach over at night to get a glass of water, he had weakness and he couldn't pick that water up. And this was a bad moment for the attorney and the client because the attorney asked, well, what else? And there was nothing else. The client said, well, that's it. And so it sounded like the attorney downplayed those issues because he didn't know that that was the most important thing and the result of the injury. So it was really a bad moment, and it downplayed the injury to the whole jury. So the jury's like, that's it? Why are we here? So know your client and spend the time that you need to with them. This is just another example showing you how important it is to prepare your client and get to know them before trial. If I'm going to trial, I meet with my client at least 6 times for several hours a time. This may sound like a lot, but there's no way to get to know your client. You just got to meet with them and talk to them. If you don't do it, you won't know what to say, and they won't know what to say. You can't just meet with them and go, hey, don't say this, yada, yada, yada. They're not going to remember that. It's just not enough. In a case I tried last year that I got a $5.6 million verdict on, I drove out to the country about 4 hours away from Austin to spend the day with my client. When he drove us to lunch, I observed him taking off his seatbelt, turning his body to look for traffic. He pulled out of his driveway. He clicked his seatbelt back on. I was sitting there with my mouth hanging open because it was so dangerous. I asked him, why on earth would you risk your life pulling out of your driveway and take off your seatbelt? And he said, well, there's no other way I can see, because he couldn't turn his neck after he had neck surgery. I said, hey, is there a family member that can testify about that at trial? And he said, yeah. So at trial, the family member testified, and it was very powerful. Had I not gone out there and spent the day with them and spent the time with them, I would never have seen that, and I would never have known that.